Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of SmugMug Live. This one's a Flickr takeover on our channels. Delighted to have you with us wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And this is the live stream to announce the winners of our World Photography Day 2023 competition. So very excited to have you. And we've been doing this for a few years now where we announce the winners live, and it's always great to have people involved in the live announcement. So it's great to see so many of you in the chat window already. So whatever platform you're joining us on, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on some of our social channels, please give yourself a shout out. Let us know where you're joining from, and we will try and involve some of you in the chat along the way. And when I say we will try and involve you, I'm not alone today. I'm delighted to have really good friend of mine and someone you've seen before on the channel, and now I can call a co-host, the wonderful Frederick Van Johnson. Hi, Frederick. How are you?
Hey, Alastair. Thanks for inviting me to sit in on this with you. I'm excited. Very good. And the entries were ridiculously good, and
Right.
the winners, of course, were the folks that are watching this will understand why the winners are the winners. So
Yeah,
very good.
very special. And I think this is maybe the second year you've been on the judging panel for this week in photography, judging the World Photography Day competition. So thank you for giving us the time to do that. Just to let the folk joining us on the live stream know that the competition has been hugely successful year after year, and I'm delighted that it continues to go from strength to strength. We are very honored to judge your images every year. It's a really tough job. I mean, I'm not joking. There's thousands upon thousands of entries, obviously, so it takes a lot of time for us to go through it. I'm delighted to have not just me and Frederick, but we have a whole team doing the judging of the competition. So there's lots of eyes going through all those thousands of images, taking the time to whittle it down to a small selection of images that then we have some interesting conversations about, Frederick, right? Where we have that short list
hmm
of images where we're trying to find the winners for each category. And, you know, it's an art form, it's subjective, so it's not easy, right?
Yeah, it's not easy, and it's also, they talk about training the trainer, right? And how you learn so much by looking at other people's work. And I tell you, looking at these contests and kind of walking through this amazing creativity and effort that people put into these photographs and artworks is just it's inspiring on one level, and on the other level, it's kind of I don't know what's the best way to put it. It kind of hones my skills, I think, as someone who's in the creative industry, because I see what people are doing with, let's say, drones or with macro, and these world photography contest kind of events are kind of like a zeitgeist core sample of what people are doing in creative right now, right? You can almost see it. Oh, there's a lot of this time, or a lot of that this time. So there's a definite ebb and flow, and from that ebb and flow, there's a lot of learning and a lot of creativity that comes out of it. So yeah, if nothing else, by participating in this, people that participated and the people that are sitting in the stands watching, just the inspiration that you get from looking at others' work is invaluable. And if you see something that you like, my suggestion is go out and do it yourself. Try it, right? And see if you can't put your own little spin on it.
Yeah, and I say this every time we do an announcement of one of our competitions. You know, yes, there are going to be five winners today who ultimately get some nice prizes and the kudos of everybody for winning it. But for me, the real joy of these competitions is being inspired, being motivated, seeing, you know, this incredible body of work that we all put together over the course of this competition. And it's a bit cliched to say everybody's a winner, but I think being part of the group is the big the big win for everybody. Is just seeing how great this group of images are, and you know just how many incredible images. Let's have a look at the little group here. So you'll see that there was one or two images. There's nearly 6,500 people joined the group this year, which is incredible. And you all posted nearly 15,000 images that we had to look through every single one of those images. It's incredible. It's a ton of work, but just an incredible body of images. Yeah, 15,000. It's incredible, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's inspiring, right? Each one of them, like even just the ones that are peeking up right now on the screen, though, it's inspiring when you look at these. Like, oh, I want to go try that. Oh, how
Yeah.
did they do that? Very interesting. Yeah.
So thank you to everybody who took the time to join the group and to submit an image, either one or five images if you manage to enter every category. We really do appreciate you taking the effort to do that. And there was also a great discussion thread on the group. There's 56 different discussions going on, lots of people getting involved in all those discussions in the group. So thank you to everybody who took the time to do that. And I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to the companies who sponsored us with the prizes. So a thank you to Peak Design, who are always very generous when it comes to giving us prizes for these competitions. So, Peak Design make incredible products from tripods and bags and travel accessories, and they very kindly have donated a capture clip to each of the category winners, along with a wonderful camera strap of your choice. So if you won the competition, you'll get a camera strap, you will get the capture clip, great pieces of kit. As a winner, you will also get a metal print of your winning image. Each of the winners will get that. Flickr has a really cool print shop option now. For those of you that are not aware, you can buy your own images from incredible pro quality products on the print shop now, and go check that out in your Flickr account if you ever wanted to get some incredible images of your products on the wall. But the winners will each be getting a metal print, and they will also be getting a free year of Flickr Pro. So if you're a Flickr Pro member already, we'll extend that by a year. If you're not a Flickr Pro, then you'll get the benefits of Flickr Pro for a year for winning the competition. So yeah, some really great prizes. I'm just being conscious about exactly what button I press, because I don't want to reveal the winners by mistakes, because we've got them all lined up. So that's great.
Yeah,
I'm just having a
yeah.
little look down on the chat. The chat is really busy, so thank you everybody who's in the chat. Some great shout outs from people from all over the world joining us, and looking forward to seeing these images. So without further ado, I guess we should get started and have a look
Let's
at our
do
first
it.
winners. So we've got five categories, five winning images to discuss. We've got nature category, we've got the people category, animals category, objects and structures, and the virtual photography category. So five winning images that Frederick and I are going to talk and give a little critique on, and talk about why why they ultimately were the choice of the panel. But again, don't be disheartened if yours isn't there. And we're going to run more competitions, so stay tuned for those. Right.
Absolutely.
I have queued
Yeah,
up the first one. So the first one is
bring it
going to
on.
be the nature category. Nature category is always a very, very popular category. In fact, I'll take that back. We're going to do the people category first. I'm looking at the order I have these lined up. So we're going to do the people category,
Hmm.
a very popular category. We all love to take pictures of people, especially me. It's something I love to do.
Yeah.
So without any further ado, here is the winner of the people category. And it is an
Woohoo.
image by Bureau 623, as the author likes to go by that name. And this is a really, really incredible portrait winning image. Frederick, I'm going to give you the honor of starting things off by talking about this image called Dejier.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you. Beautiful image. The thing that struck me about this image initially was it obviously has this cinematic feel to it, right? Because it has
Mm-hmm.
the shallow depth of field, and then the blooming light point or light sources in the background. But it's not. It doesn't, and even the flare in the front. You would think
Yep.
that this flare in there is an accident, but it adds to it. It adds a bit of depth and motion, because you don't typically see that flare unless it's in motion or something kinetic is happening. So
Hmm.
that drew me into it. Um, and just the fact it feels like a portrait, but it's not a portrait, right? It feels like it's a candid sort of portrait. The post processing of this image, muted colors, almost kind of like a Christopher Nolan esque kind of color palette in here. Inception, right? It
Right.
very much feels like that, and I love that style. I'm seeing that a lot, and or not egregiously so, but I'm seeing that trend of let's look at what some cinema or cinematic lighting techniques are that are done in film, and bring those into a creative endeavor, like just like a photo or a portrait or something like that, versus your 3 point light source or something more traditional. Why not lean into it? If you see something in a movie that inspires you, like Dune or something, why not kind of riff on that, and execute that in a shot? This shot, I like it on, like I said, on a number of points. Number one is I like people photography. It's great. Shallow depth of field, simplicity of this. We have our subject. Our subject's not looking at the camera, which, as a portrait photographer, our knee jerk reaction is, of course, you have to make eye contact with the camera. But in this case, she's slightly off center of the frame, ever so slightly, and looking off in that direction, which adds even more interest. Like, what she's looking at, what is she looking at, and why is she in this area? So it's kind of cool. I like it. And the kind of other thing that I'd slide in there, she looks very much like my big sister. So we'll leave
Yeah.
it we'll leave it at that.
Get a bonus point for the family connection. The
Yes, yes.
Certainly talking to the rest of the panel, this image, stood out. And when you're going through thousands of images, there are images that jump off the screen at you, and this was one of them. And I see someone James has mentioned in the comment that, yeah, this image really struck me when I came across it, which is
Hmm.
very true. I see another comment. Neil says it looks like a still from a movie, and that's what
Yeah.
you said. It's got the J.J. Abrams kind of flair going on at the front there, that blooming, very cinematography look of the bloom about it.
Hmm.
When you look at the author's comments about it, it's really interesting that this was they were out kind of touring around the car parks in Little Tokyo, just looking for opportunities. So there was some photographers, they had some models, they're walking around car parks and locations in Little Tokyo, just looking for these. And if you go look at Bureau 623's photo stream, you'll see a whole body of work from this shoot and this kind of series. And it's always nice to go down that little rabbit hole of looking at the winner's other work. And yeah, it's just really good. If you've watched me give a live stream and a critique before, you'll no doubt have heard me talk about my love of storytelling. And with
Hmm.
portraiture, portraiture can be very hard to tell a story in when you're just taking a very traditional portrait, trying to represent the person. Here, Bureau 623's done a fantastic job, I think, of adding that element of storytelling into a portrait where we're really curious about where this model's going, what she's doing, what's about to go down, what's about to happen. It's almost like you want to know what the next scene of the movie is, right?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah,
really love
exactly.
it.
And it tells that story. Yeah, we talk about that a lot on This Week in Photo when we do our weekly critiques, and that's even if it's a nugget of a story or part of a story, like this one feels like you said, it's a scene. It could be a scene out of the movie, or like James said, it could be, or one of the earlier comments said, this could be a scene out of a movie, but it is still telling a story, right? It could be a fragment of a story, like what it gets us thinking about what she's looking at, what's going on, why is she in this place, and it has that feel. It's not just a person standing in front of the camera, trying to look attractive. There's something else going on here. And there's an air of mystery that adds to the overall color palette of the photo and the composition and all that. So yeah, it's really well done. It kind of draws you in.
Yeah, it's good, and it just shows you don't need big elaborate sets or big productions. Here, the authors walking around the urban parts of the city, just looking for cool backdrops and cool locations, and probably
Hmm.
I would assume there's some mobile lighting involved. But yeah, great. And there's a lot of light sources going on in this shot,
Yeah.
and they've handled the skin tones incredibly well with all those light sources that are going on. Yeah, really loved it, and it's quite different from a lot of stuff we saw in the people category. So, yes, congratulations to Bureau 623. A wonderful image. I would.
Alistair, do you think Bureau 623 shot this with an anamorphic lens to get that horizontal lens flare
It's
in
certainly,
there?
yeah, it's certainly one way you would get that flare at the front of the image, the front
Yeah.
element of the image there. And yes, you can do some of that in post by, you can add flare in post and stuff, but it really mirrors the two strobe frames behind the model. So I think
Yeah.
it's probably done in camera.
In camera. Yeah.
Yeah, probably with probably, as you say, with an anamorphic lens. You can get some really cool ones now for your iPhone. Anamorphic lens that you
Yeah.
can
I
put on your
saw.
iPhone
Yeah.
creates this kind of look very, very easily.
Yep.
Also easy to mess up with an anamorphic lens, but um,
Totally.
yeah, this is done really
Yeah.
well. Yeah, love it.
Yep.
So thank you for your comments there. Thank you to everybody in the chat who's posted nice comments. I'll try and post the links to the images as we're going along as well in the chat, so that you can have a look at them on the Flickr accounts. I'll also post a list of them in the descriptions of the video feeds after we're finished here today as well. Right, let's see, which one do I have queued up next? It is the nature category. Let me just make sure
Yes.
I've got the right image. Now,
Now,
nature.
nature, which is always on This Week in Photo, when I do little surveys of the podcast
Hmm.
audience from time to time. Landscape always, by a large margin, is the most popular genre, and
As it
still
was here.
today, right? Maybe
Yeah,
that'll change. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
always.
Nature and animals are two of the biggest categories every time we do a competition. Nature by far. It
Hmm.
covers, so much of our world and the type of
Yeah.
genres that
Well, I
we of
think
photography. So, yeah, it's
the
great.
landscape stuff, I think a lot of the popularity comes from the photography is a very solo sport, like
Mm.
golf for the most part, even worse than golf, right? But you can go out, grab your bag, go out and just go someplace and make good shots and have a good time doing it. Nature and landscapes definitely lend themselves to doing that, much like macro, but macro is a little harder because it requires more specialized equipment.
Hmm.
But
It looks like we just lost Frederick for a moment, as can always be a little bit of a difficulty with live streaming. Hopefully, he'll join us back in a moment. Let me just see if Frederick is with us. I think he's there. Can you hear us, Frederick?
I can hear you. Yeah,
You can hear
I'm
us. You
muted.
just, yeah,
I
you
can
just
hear you.
dropped. You dropped out for a little bit there,
Something's
but
happening here.
you're back. Anyway, while your internet winds itself up and gets back up to full speed, we'll have a look at the winning nature image. And it's interesting that you mentioned macro there, because this certainly falls into the macro side of things. So this is an image by Z, Icy Embers, which I just, yeah, this for me was just beautiful. Again, another one that jumped off the page while looking through many, many nature images. Great composition, great, depth of field, wonderful bokeh with some of the highlights in the background. But the richness of the color at such a micro level for me was really compelling. I loved the colors that were captured within the water droplets trapped in this little plant. It's hard to tell exactly what the scale is, but with the
Yeah.
water elements there, it's pretty small. But yeah, just beautiful composition with a hint of the fact that this isn't just a single piece of plant. There's more behind it with the same sort of look on it. So yeah, this for me again, one that jumped off the page, and one that was on many people's shortlist when we got down to talking about the final winners of the nature category. Frederick, what did you think?
Yeah, very similar sentiments. Looking at this one, it first of all the color palette, right? So it's got that hint of cool and warm or teal and orange in there, which for some reason we all like, the
Hmm.
fire and ice kind of color palette. So that works here very well, even though the fire side of it is muted, which is great because it or the cool side is muted, which makes the kind of warm colors pop out. The circles of confusion in the background also awesome because it kind of gives you that hint of how far things are from this in the background. Just subliminally, you kind of know when you see those circles of confusion in that bokeh, you know that how far the subject is away from the background. And then these alien looking plants, trees, flora in the foreground. Those are interesting in and of themselves. This could be an alien landscape or something, right? With these plants there. So I dig that. And then the choice in post processing of the sort of horizontal, elongated, almost cinematic kind of crop here. I think that
Yep.
adds to it because you could very easily have gone square or 4:3 or 3:2 or something, but going long in a non-standard crop adds to the interest of the shot because it's like something unusual. We don't always see this crop or this aspect ratio. And then the subject, we don't always see that. And then the color play in there is also really good. So yeah, I like this one. I like it a lot. It's very, very cool, very interesting. I could see this one blown up big on the like in the reception area of one of some high tech firm or something.
Mm.
This could very easily do that. So
If
very
only we
nice.
knew some high tech firms that could hang that in the reception. That would be cool.
That still had people that go to work. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This image, you talk about the aspect ratio. I think the aspect ratio works really well with the kind of curved nature of the composition. Taking you from that top left edge to the top right edge, and if you read left to right.
Yeah.
Really loved it. There was some interesting comments by Izzy, the author. Go back here. It says, and this was really quite compelling. It was a fleeting moment before the sun melted away all the golden jewels. Glad I was there to witness the beauty of it. It's for this reason this is my all-time favorite. Many times, I think, as photographers, we've all witnessed those moments that are fleeting. Maybe we've missed the opportunity to take a picture of it, but just to have witnessed it sometimes is reward enough, right? But the fact that Izzy was, successful in capturing not just that moment, but a beautiful rendition of that moment in such a way. It's really quite compelling to read those words together with this stunning image. So, Izzy, congratulations on winning the nature category. A very tough category to win. So yeah, no mean feat to have come top of the pile on that. So yeah, fantastic. Your internet still doesn't
Yeah.
look like it's fully caught up yet,
And if
Frederick. But
folks are it's I don't know what's going on. I've got, half a gig up and down here. I have no idea.
yeah,
But the one thing to take away from that last image in all of these images is because they're hosted on Flickr, you can see all the metadata. Like the last image, or the first image of the young lady we were looking at, no man, not a whole lot of metadata, if any. The artist chose not to show that. On this one, the artist chose to show, or this
yep,
the landscape or the nature image, the artist chose to show the metadata, which could be very informative as you're learning photography and having the discussions and chatting back and forth. You know what camera, what aperture, ISO, all the things. You can even, if you, Alistair, if you click that show EXIF link
yep,
there, it'll give you even more exhaustive
everything,
data
yep,
about what was captured when this thing was shot. So everything
yeah,
you need, yeah, in there. I don't know if there are many other if any other photo sharing services that expose that level of information about the shots that are in it.
yeah.
So
There's definitely
just
definitely
want to
not,
throw that in there in case folks didn't know about that.
and it's a great learning opportunity. I know, early in my career, having a Flickr account so early on, and looking at the metadata religiously to see who was taking what at what focal length and at what shutter speed. Obviously, you can search by camera now as well, see all the images taken with a specific camera. As I've said, I've
Yeah.
posted a link to this image on Flickr. And the other wonderful thing is if you go to Flickr and you click on zoom, you can just begin to see just how beautiful this image is. When you start seeing it large, it just gets better and better the closer in you
It's
get,
nuts.
where you can
Yeah.
see all the details of all these droplets of water and the colors, or the jewels as they're described in the comments. It really is an incredible image. The more you look at it, it gets better actually. The longer you look at this one, the better it gets. So congratulations, Izzy.
Hmm.
Really appreciate you
Yeah.
entering that to the competition. All right. So onwards to the next category. Let me see what the next category is. Let me cue this up. So the next category is objects and structures. Now, a pretty vague category description leaves a lot of opportunity to interpret that. Frederick, I'm going to ask you to hang up and dial back in, buddy. If you want to dial back in, we'll see if it stabilizes your internet. So while we just wait for Frederick dialing back in, yeah, the objects and structures, it really allows you to look at everything from, still life portraiture to details, minor details, to architectural, composition, structures, aerial photography. There's so much you can do on this particular category. And again, that meant it was a really, really popular category. Tons and tons of images submitted to the objects and structures category. Let's see. I'm just hoping that Frederick dials back in before I reveal this next image. While we're waiting on Frederick, again, if you're watching on YouTube, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we release another episode. And if you're watching on social media, then go ahead and give us a like to follow that. And here's Frederick dialed back in. Hopefully we can have him back on screen. There you go. Looks way better now that you've dialed back in.
Yeah. Good. Hopefully it'll stay that way and not go to mashed
Hopefully.
potatoes again.
And then I don't have to fill for way too long for you to join back in. So we're going to jump to the winner of the objects and structures category. And forgive me if I butcher the pronunciation of anybody's name today. I do give my apologies. The winner in this category is Yezvin Kostyuk, and his image is popular and ignored, which I thought was a very it's a very clever title that goes so well with the image. Here we have an aerial shot of two swimming pools, one in the shape of a P and one in the shape of an I, and one's popular and one's been ignored. Just a really good title, but a really compelling, very graphic composition of this aerial shot. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. You know what I thought when I first saw this? I got the P and the I thing, the popular ignored and the empty and the occupied swimming pool. But I started looking into this shot looking for 3.14 in here.
That pie.
Yeah, that pie. Yeah. So
Maybe it's there in
no,
minute
this
detail.
it's gotta, yeah, if it's not in there, Yevon needs to kind of incorporate that Easter egg somewhere in here. But
Yeah.
cool shot, what a good concept. Because of course, as humans, whenever we see an image, the first thing we look for is patterns. And we can't find patterns. We look for faces. We can't find faces. We look for patterns, and we look for words and letters. And this one, right in your face, P and I.
Hmm.
So boom, and then you look a little bit deeper and you start trying to think about why is going on here, and then you look at the title and it all kind of weaves together. The really cool shot, obviously, or maybe not so obviously. I was gonna say obviously shot from a drone, but not necessarily.
Not
Could have just
necessarily.
been shot from, yeah, could have just from
Hanging
a
off
high
the edge of a
altitude.
building. Yeah.
Yeah. But
There's
if you
some
do have a drone, these are the kind of shots you should consider doing. That different perspective on things is what one of the areas that drones open up to us. So yeah, I like this. This is really nice.
yeah, some great comments. Let's see if James's comment just looks incredibly fun. Yeah, it's an incredible image. It's a fun type of image to take. And then Arnie says, looks like a device. Love that. So and Worship the
It does.
Pig also says, yeah, reminds me of a circuit board. And it does, right? There's
Hmm.
so much going on in this image, right? It's just a straight down aerial shot of a swimming pool. That's fundamentally
Yeah.
what it is. But there's so many levels to this. Why is everybody in the pool on the left? Why is nobody on the
Uh-huh.
one on the right? Is there water on the one on the right? Maybe it's empty,
What happened? Or what happened in
right?
that pool on the right that everyone
Yeah,
left it and came to the other
yeah.
one?
In fact, I think it is
Yeah.
empty. There's no reflections in it at all. So, why? Is
Huh.
it? Is it? Has it been drained? Is it? Or is it just perfectly still, which means there's no sunlight reflections? What are all the other objects? Are they deliberately meant to look like a circuit board? Was that the intention of the
Hmm.
architect of this? Just really well done. Then look at the color palette. Just a really
Hmm.
interesting color palette with the striking blues and the natural tones of the rest of it, and then
Yeah.
really well exposed. There's a lot of
Yeah.
white elements. There's a lot of people skin tones. Yeah, just really well done.
I get Tiffany's vibes from this shot. It's very close to the Tiffany's, the jewelry store, the Tiffany, sorry, Tiffany vibes with kind of the teal and the white. I was going to ask you, Alistair, when you look at this shot, if you were here, which of these pools would if assuming that the eye had water in it, but which pool would you go to? The one with people or the empty one?
I'd be in the empty one. If I had it to myself, I'd be doing laps in the
Same.
empty one. I've just noticed something really cool. In the chat window, we actually have Yedfin. Apologies if we're just butchering your name. The winner is actually commenting in there he is. Congratulations. And they say all pools were with water. So there you go.
Wow. Okay. So
Congratulations.
there's water in there.
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah. It's funny. I was actually questioning whether there was any water in the other one. It's just so still. I guess
Hmm.
just with people moving in it, they've just chopped the surface enough that it's getting those light reflections in it. That makes it even more
Hmm.
compelling why nobody was in that pool. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
really good one. And then long-term friend of SmugMug and Flickr and TWiP is Connor McNeil. He's in the chat. Hey Connor, how you doing? Says looks like a scene from a
Hey,
Wes
Connor.
Anderson movie. It does. Yeah, it's got that color palette of Wes Anderson. Just yeah, really wonderful shot. A tough category to win. Objects and you know is such a big category with such a variance. Just such a variance on opportunities that it's
Hmm.
great to win a great to win it. Great to
It's like
stand out.
what is it? Adobe Firefly. It has that new type tool in it. This looks like it could be the source of one of those fonts that
Mm,
here's Helvetica or Futura Bold, but make it look like a
like
swimming
a
pool with
swimming
people
pool.
in it. Right? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
very nice. This is obviously much better, but yeah, very
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 cool.
interesting.
But congratulations on winning that really good category. Right, what does that bring us to? Brings us to animals. This is
Number
always
three.
number four. This is the fourth one.
Is this four? Yeah, this is number
Yeah,
four. Yeah.
this is number
Cool.
four. This is animals. Another category that I love to look at, love to look through. I love looking at all sorts of animal pictures from our pets to wild animals. It encompasses so many skill sets within photography, depending on what genre you do.
Yeah.
And I think within that group, we probably should do a search on it to work out just how many animals were represented within it. But there was everything from little creepy crawlies to massive mammals to flying things to things in water and all the above. So yeah, absolutely incredible
Yeah.
category. But there can be only one winner. of the overall category. And our winner this time is Graham Gibson with this image called Kicking Up Some Dust.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll let you kick things off with this one, Frederick.
Very nice, Graham. Yeah, so you're transporting us to this location, right? I guess this could be anywhere, but to me, it feels, because I'm in the Western United States, this feels very much like the Western United States, or Colorado or Utah or someplace like that, where it's warm, it's hot, it's dusty, and you can almost hear these horses running, and the chaotic nature, the controlled chaos that's going on here. So yeah, I love it from that respect. I love, one of the things that I love about this shot is when you look at that horse in the middle, or kind of to the right, to the right of where the rancher or the man is
Mm-hmm.
standing, the one that's running,
Yep.
that's the one that draws me in, and it's the one of the brightest horses in there, at least closest to the camera. So I look at him, and the story then unfolds around that one to me. So again, we're going back into cinematography again. We got our
Storytelling. Yep.
wide, yeah, storytelling. We have our wide frame, so it kind of feels like we're sitting in a theater looking at a frame or a film unfolding in front of us, and it's, yeah, and very, very well done. I can hear the story, I can feel the story, I can feel what the artist was trying to tell me in this shot. Like, I want you to be here with me while I'm witnessing this herding operation here. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And that's one of the skill
Yeah.
sets as a an author of an image, really being able to make people look at the image and read the story that you wanted them to read. Looking at
Hmm.
the metadata, this image was taken on August the 1st, 2021, but could have been
Hmm.
taken in 1951, 1941.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
completely
So folks in the
timeless.
chat are saying,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
completely timeless.
absolutely.
There's nothing in it that dates this image at all. The black and white treatment of it, the monochrome treatment of it, really just helps you focus on the story, the moving element, the exposure of the dust is really really well handled. If you look closely,
Hmm.
you'll see there's literally no shadows. If you look at the rancher standing there, the sun's probably directly above, probably
Straight
midday,
above.
something like that, and they've handled it so well in capturing the exposure of the dust, as it you know is kicked up by all these galloping horses. Of course, there's a few strays in the background that the rancher's trying to round up and get in line. Yeah, aspect ratio. But I think more than anything, for this particular image, that's the storytelling element that set it above and beyond the others that were shortlisted for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful
Yeah.
part
And
of the world too.
even the storytelling, we're telling a story of sort of herding and corralling these horses into this some unknown area off camera on the right there, but where all the motion is sort of leading in that area. Even on the left side of the frame, we've got that rancher very close to the left of the frame going after the straggler and
Hmm.
pushing those stragglers back towards the main flow of horses, and we can feel that, you can see that all that is playing out in front of us, telling that story of, giddy up.
Yep. Yeah, it's a high intensity moment, right? There's a lot of energy
Mhm.
going on at that one particular moment. Probably a lot at stake, and making sure they all get through that one gate. So
Yeah.
yes, Graham, congratulations. Really great image. You can see it's had a bunch of views. Again, another great thing when you go
Wow.
to Flickr, you can see the view count. 15,000 people looking at this image almost. Lots of favorites, lots of comments. Again, you can see all the metadata, what camera, what focal length. Yeah, and you can see all the other groups that this image is part of. So, yeah, head over to Graham's account, have a look. I've posted a link in the chat, and yeah, take another great long look at this image. There's a lot to absorb in it. Really great job,
Yeah.
Graham. Well done.
Yep.
That only leaves one category
Uh-oh.
to look at.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, and as always, an interesting category to finish with because it's the virtual category, virtual photography category. I know an area that you're fond of yourself. You talk a lot about virtual photography at the
Yes.
moment. And again,
Yep.
it's a category and a genre that now has many genres to it, right? Before, when we used to talk about virtual photography, it was, screen grabs and CGI and, you know, virtual photography taken online. Now there's more and more forms of virtual photography on a daily basis. So it does make it a very interesting category. It makes it a very interesting time to be part of a judging panel in that category, because there are so many varying genres, and the sort of vast array of images that are in this one category really cover so many other elements. There's portraiture, there's landscape,
All of it.
incredible storytelling, but all virtually done. So yeah, it's an interesting. Did you enjoy looking through it?
I did, yeah. It is, and you hit the nail right on the head. My current shiny object that I'm obsessing over is this. What does this whole world of virtual whatever mean? From the Apple's Vision Pro headset and the Meta Quest. What does that era look like in that world? It's from the lens of a photographer or content creator. Like, what are the different ways that we're going to be able to share images, and all the way down to, like you're saying, Alistair, about the different genres that are represented in that medium, which is, it's all, for me, we were talking about this last night, it's almost like the electromagnetic spectrum, right? To geek
Hmm.
out a little bit. So you've got, what is it, x-rays all the way up to whatever, infrared, I don't know, the science of it, but right in the middle is the infrared spectrum of the colors that we can see. And I feel like photography is very much playing in the infrared spectrum, and now we're starting to spread out to all these other areas, like genres that we haven't even conceived of yet, will start appearing as people find different ways to use these new technologies and either use them solo or incorporate them into their photography work or whatever kind of medium they're working in. So in these kind of photos that are in that pool, I encourage everyone to just go look through them and get a feel for where things could go, from a glass is half full standpoint,
Yeah.
because it's very easy to fall off the cliff into a glass is half empty, and this is the end of life as we know it and all that. No, this is an opportunity. This is a drill when you had to kind of dig the hole, you know, in previous worlds, or bang a nail with a rock instead of this nice hammer or a nail gun, right? Now we can do more. We can do more faster. So yeah, this
Yeah.
is really, really exciting, the era that we're in right now.
Incredible category. As I say, there was some incredible storytelling. Virtual photography encompasses so many opportunities, but again, it has to be done well. It can't,
Yeah,
you know, it can't just be, virtual and good. It has to, virtual and great storytelling. And we
that's
certainly
right.
saw a lot of that. And I think this winner, let's finally get to showing the winner, because this winner was a really really interesting one, and it's by Henri Odabas. Again, apologies if I have not pronounced that right, and it's titled Wata Yuki. And again, how about that for storytelling? Again, it
Isn't
was
that
one
great?
of those ones that was in everybody's shortlist straight away from this category. Beautifully done.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at a shot like this, and it's so interesting. Like I said, these different genres are starting to play out and reveal themselves, which I'm sure they will be doing for the next several decades. But when you look at a shot like this, for me, it represents that shift from hyper realism and proving, or kind of a proof of concept of a technology. Like, hey, look how real I can make this look, or that looks photorealistic. It's
Mm.
interesting. It's still an uncanny valley a little bit, but it looks photorealistic. Now I think artists are starting to understand that real isn't, or realistic isn't necessarily the holy grail. It's all about storytelling and a means to an end. And you look at a shot like this, look at it. I mean, my hometown is Chicago, so I identify
Yeah.
with this shot, right? So, and if the artist needed a shot like this for whatever they're working on, and couldn't wait to go to Chicago in December or whatever to get a real, or a photographic shot like this tells the story. And the other takeaway from it is, if we at the end of the day, I think all of us, whatever medium you're creating in, all of us are storytellers. The paintbrush that you're using to tell those stories is in a lot of ways inconsequential to telling the story. If you're, for example, if you're a writer, right, the and you choose to write on a typewriter, or you choose to use a word processor, or text to speech to text, or whatever your medium, how you get that story in front of other people is almost inconsequential. It's about the story itself. And same here with these images. It's about the image, and
Yep.
what the story is, the image and the artists are trying to get from their mind and their creativity into ours. And this is the end result of one of them. If you just looked at this shot hanging on the wall somewhere in a gallery, you're not going to instantly say, "Oh, wow, what a great virtual shot that is." You're just going to say, "Oh, wow, yeah, that looks like Chicago. Yeah, I remember those kind of snowstorms. Somebody's going to be shoveling a driveway." That's that's what it looks like. You're not thinking about the mechanics of it. And keep in mind, the only people that think about the mechanics and how an image was made, and then want to look in the metadata and do all those things, are other photographers, for the most part, right?
Hmm.
Our audiences aren't other photographers. They're just looking at the image on the face value of the image. Other photographers want to dissect it and look into how it was made and all those things. So if you're shooting for other photographers, like you're an educator or something like that, then that's one thing. But if you're shooting for the joy of shooting and telling stories, then these kinds of techniques and virtual and VR and AR, whatever, AI, all these things are just tools in your toolbox to help you tell that story that's kind of drilling a hole in the back of your head, and you got to get it out, because you're an artist. Now you have another way to release that pressure.
It's interesting you say it reminds you of Chicago. This reminds me of, the first snowfalls you get in Scotland as well. I can see myself standing there outside the house shouting, it's snowing, as the first snow starts
Yeah.
to fall. Send me some gloves, or something, shouting at the house.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Really
This is
beautifully created.
upstate New York for us. I When I
Uh,
was a kid, when my we grew up, we were in upstate New York in Albany, and this
mm,
is we would pray for days like this. My brother and I have an older brother, partner in crime, Batman and Robin. So we'd be in our room, and it's snowing. So you look outside, and it would look like this, and we're like, oh, maybe it's gonna be a school. It's gonna be a school closure day, right?
yeah, snow,
That's what
school,
this
snow
says
day.
to kids. Like, yeah, no
Yeah.
school today. Yay. Yeah.
Let's
So
uh,
yeah, beautiful.
let's go over to Henri's Flickr page and have a look. Look at this,
103.
103,000
Wow.
people viewed this image. Really engaging image. People are really loving this image. Lots of faves,
Nice.
lots of comments. But I was looking at the description of it, which was really nice. Wati Yuki is a Japanese term which means cotton snow. And what I love about what the author's done here is, when you read the comments, through this photograph, I wanted to express the essence of femininity: elegance, lightness, intuition, delicacy, flexibility, and purity. Those are the incredible thought processes and those elements that the author wanted to create here, and to pre-visualize that and then go and create it, whether it's virtually, where it's with more traditional forms of photography. The ability to, as an artist, to pre-visualize what you want to do and then go ahead and create it, that's a real talent. And yeah,
Yeah.
I would highly recommend everybody goes and checks out the comments and the work that went behind this image to create it. Very well done. Congratulations to all our winners. Frederick, that was fun. It's always fun, and it's always nice to share good news with people. Let's go back
Yeah.
to the group page for a second, because I also want to say a big thank you again to everybody who got involved in the group. Also, a huge thank you to our moderators, who, for the duration of this competition, were constantly in that group, helping people, making sure people were able to submit, making sure people were submitting correctly, obviously making sure all the images were appropriate and up to the rules and stuff. So a huge thank you to the moderators that do a whole bunch of work behind the scenes that we don't get to see. We couldn't do it without you. So a huge appreciation for those folks stepping in and being mods on that group. The group's still live as are previous years, so again, so you can still go join the group and check out all the images. Obviously, you can't submit anymore, but you can certainly go through all the different categories and have a look at just the body of work. Really good. Of course, we will be doing more competitions in the future, so stay tuned. We will be notifying you of what competitions are coming up in due course on our social channels, newsletters, etc. And I would highly encourage everybody to get involved in those competitions. It's a great way to be part of the Flickr community, great way to find people, find work that you maybe want to follow or interact with. So yeah, get into Flickr and follow those competition groups for sure. Any final words from you, Frederick?
Yeah, echoed all that. Yeah, participation in this stuff is key, and I would encourage folks to lean into Flickr and the community and the discussion aspects of how it all works, because it's kind of a diamond. It's unique in the photography industry to have all that stuff in one place and to have conversations, genre-based conversations that coalesce around certain images, and the back and forth there with all that metadata and the keywords and tagging. All that stuff is there. So I would encourage folks to, I mean, obviously everyone here is in there, but dive in more, interact, and just learn and try and stretch and try new different things that you may not have felt comfortable trying before. For example, doing virtual images or portraiture or drone shots or whatever. Just stretch beyond what you normally do, but add your own particular flavoring on top of it. And then lastly, This Week in Photo, our podcast for SmugMug, Flickr, that world. Definitely check out the podcast, but also join us in our Flickr group. Now I'll put the link in the chat here, but join us in the TWiP Flickr group as well. There's a bunch of people in there right now. How many do we have? We've got 14,700 members in there. So join us and have that dialogue back and forth. Though we'll be running different challenges and things like that in that area as well. So I'd love to see some of your names pop in there. If you do, pop in and join that community. Say hello and tell me, just mention that you joined because of the World Photography Day and this Flickr stream that we're on right now.
Yeah, we'll give it a little plug as we speak. So
Yay.
yeah, lots of fantastic members in there, and nearly 500,000 images, dude. It's not a small group by any means. It's a
No.
incredible,
Look at when it
incredible
started.
group. Yeah, one of the OGs.
2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes back. It's been a long time, but yeah. Frederick, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who entered. Thank you to the judging panel who supported Frederick and I in getting these final images picked. Obviously, hopefully there'll be another World Photography Day contest in 2024, so watch out for that, but I'm sure there'll be some other ones coming down the pipeline before that. Everybody who watched us live, thank you. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. It's great to see you in that chat, sharing your thoughts and views on those images. Very positive, very friendly chat. I do appreciate that. But for now, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, be kind, look after each other, and we will see you very soon on another live stream. But for now, take care. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Frederick.
Bye. You're welcome. See you. Bye.